Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Virtual Flight Diaries. This will be the first installment of my new series called Military Mondays, where we're going to be showcasing Microsoft Flight Simulator's military side. So this first installment is going to be the Tornado GR.1, a British aircraft, a multi-combat role aircraft, fighter bomber. It was used by Great Britain, the RAF, Italy, Germany, and I believe France. It was used during the Gulf War, during Operation Granby, which was the RAF designation for Desert Storm, which was the U.S. designation. Operation Friction was Canada, and there was a bunch of others. So the RAF was a support role in the coalition against Saddam Hussein, the Iraqi army, and the liberation of Kuwait. So here's the scenario before we get started. So it's January 17th. It's the morning of January 17th. Fighter planes, cruise missiles, and B-52 bombers have been conducting sorties into Iraq for Phase 1, called Operation Instant Thunder. It hasn't been all that great due to weather concerns. A lot of the targets were obscure. About over the overnight runs, 80% of the bombs delivered to their targets were not dropped due to targets unable to be identified. So now it's the morning. They've been flying sorties all night. And we're going to be the lead element in a bombing run against Saddam Hussein International Airport, which is now Baghdad International Airport. We're going to take out a runway, and then we're going to head over to Al Fallujah and take out a command and control radio station there. Of course, it's all going to be pretend because this is not a combat simulator. It's Microsoft Flight Simulator. And weapons just don't seem to be part of it. So we're really going to just showcase the Tornado, its capabilities, its terrain following radar. We're going to be coming into Baghdad at about 500 feet at 600 knots. Kicking up some dust. And it should be a good time. So let me just get started. I made a little battle map here of our flight plan. So some caveats. So this is the 9th Squadron, RAF number 9 Squadron. Particularly, this aircraft is in the livery of Armored Charmer. Now, they were out of Tabuk. I know I'm going to butcher these names. I'm no good with foreign language names. But if I was to run this mission from Tabuk, like it did, we'd be here for hours. So I chose Al Juf in Sakaka, closer to the Iraqi border and closer to Baghdad, so I could cut the time. I don't believe this was used as an airbase, but it's just for fun. So we're going to take off from Al Juf. We're going to fly to this first. So this is our aerial refueling point. At 20,000 feet, we're going to take on some fuel, and then we're going to continue on to our two targets, Objective Varsity and Objective Cobalt. were these actual Baghdad targets? No. I couldn't find actual Baghdad target names, but I did find some Kuwaiti target names, and Varsity and Cobalt were actually one of them, or two of them. So I picked it just to use it. Just to give it a military flair. So we're going to drop, we would be dropping JP-233s on the runway, which were anti-runway bombs, but they don't have them. So we're going to just be dropping 500-pound dumb bombs, unguided onto the runway, pretending we're going to do the run, and then we're going to fly over to Fallujah, and we're going to take out the command and control center there, and then hightail it out at the speed of sound back to our refueling, take on some more fuel, and then head back to base. And that's going to be our mission. And hopefully we get it done. So the Squadron 9 has the distinction of not losing a single aircraft in combat during the operation. So Operation Desert Storm was the overall name for this plane, or for this battle. And now see, there's supposed to be a click spot that removes. And it removes this thing because it's really in the way visually, because we have to get to this panel behind here. Oh well. So let's get started. So, like the F-14 Tomcat, the Tornado has a WSO in the back. Well, the F-14 Tomcat had a Rio. The WSO, known as the Wizzo, handled the weapons and navigational systems and radars on the plane. So we're going to start running through the checklist to get him ready. If I don't do this, guys, I'd have to go into the back seat, and it would actually take longer. So while he's getting started, we're going to get started. We turn on the hydraulics to auto. So we're going to go down this panel here. So here's the make sure all this stuff is off for start. And the cutoff. It's closed. Normal. Autopilot's off. HUD is off. Stowed. Really would love Oh well. Not gonna mess around with that too much. So I'm not going to do a cart start. So this had an APU, unlike the...
Negative. No electrical power. Start the APU or have the ground crew to connect external power.
Duh. So we're going to start the APU. So we're going to do a combat start. APU startup. A very loud APU. We'll do an APU test. And I killed my APU with that. Okay, try that again. Guess it's up in here. That's not supposed to be flashing. What am I missing? That's right. There we go. See, that's why I really wanted to get this out of the way. Now, the manual had a click spot, but it doesn't seem to be working. Alright, so we got the APU on, so we're going to turn that on to transmit receive. Turn the oxygen on. Generators on. Move on. Turn that on to test. See where our Wizzo's at. Some of the systems on. Hood can go to direct. That's stowed, that's stowed. Move mid-range. Crash bar is good. So there's like a 120-page manual. I've gone through some of it. So, like I said, I was just learning this plane too. Let's start engine 1. The engine sounds seem to be just a little bit lacking. What's cool though is when it comes up to speed, it'll auto shut off the APU. Yep, our APU shut off. Then we're going to start engine 2. For that RPM to come up to about 20. It was close enough. Good light off. Test. It's uncaged. This is a weapons radar, so it's not modeled. Oxygen is running. Pull the pin. Turn on our emergency power source. Turn on our taxi light. And we can bring the wings out. And midway on the flaps, so up 2 degrees. Trim. So I have external autopilot controls, because this has an autopilot as well, as the F-14 did. I'm just going to turn them on. Course. Just a second, guys. Okay. Test our terrain tracking radar. Okay, so go. Intake the auto. Go on. All right, so it looks like we're not ready to go. So is the problem? Okay.
Negative.
So,
A little late for the initial checks.
so we're gonna fake it. Something happened with the script for the Wizzo. Alright. Now we're ready to go. wonder if the flight plan's in there. Yeah, it looks like it. Alright, brakes off. Final checks. Seems to be a thunderstorm. We're going to go up to no power. The auto throttle. I'm going to bring the throttle back to 400. climb out to 20,000 feet to meet our refueling tanker. So, the first night of Operation Instant Thunder, or the first 24 hours I should say, 2,700 sorties or missions were conducted. It was phase 1 of the coalition forces attack on the Iraqi army. So phase 1 was the air assault, and its purpose was to completely dismantle the air defense capabilities of Iraq, and it was madly successful. After the first hours, phase 2 and phase 3 were actually implemented, which were the bombardment of infrastructure and then a direct attack on Iraqi forces. The attack was so successful that the Iraqi military couldn't get an air defense going for the rest of the campaign, which only lasted till February 28th. The U.S. complement for phase 1 was the F-111 Aardvark, the F-117 stealth fighter, and the B-52, with the support of the RAF using the Tornadoes, both the GR.1, the F-3, and also the Buccaneer for laser guidance for munitions. You can see this plane's pretty cool. It's pretty, once you get the hang of things, it's pretty simple to fly. It does some pretty cool stuff. Wait till you get a load of the terrain following radar capabilities. We're supposed to get call-outs from our Wizzo, but something seems to have happened. Alright, well. We'll just have to fly the mission without him. I guess he passed out. Alright, so we're 40 miles from our aerial refueling. And we're going to slow down to 350 knots. That. I have no idea. I'm not a real world military pilot. I have no... I really don't even get into the sim aspect of military flight. Don't know the procedures. I have no idea how slow you're supposed to be going for refueling. I would love to hear you know, from real world pilots, if they see this video or watched it or watching this, to just, you know, let us all know. It'd be great to learn. Flying into a thunderstorm here. $20 miles to aerial refueling. Get the fuel probe out. I imagine we have to be going slower. All filled up. Bring that back in. Time to hug the earth. So this has an automatic fuel system. So right now it's taking from the wing tanks, and then when they're done, they'll switch to the fuselage tanks, drawing from the wing tank. It's pretty cool. Considering this was built in 1974, comparatively the technologies were a lot better than the F-14. So we're just coming down now. We're going to come down to 1,500 feet above the ground, stabilize, and then we're going to drop to 500 feet. We can start going faster too. .180 miles to target. Target varsity. And we're probably going to get there in about 10 minutes. So Operation Instant Thunder was a combat model based on the Warden's 5 Rings, it was called. It was created by Colonel John A. Warden III. He was an air power theorist. And the 5 rings of combat were field military, population, infrastructure, key production, and leadership. If you take out all 5 rings, you've completely paralyzed the country. So they based Operation Instant Thunder with a shock and awe between cruise missile attacks, the coalition of aerial bombardment. It was the most impressive display of military force that ever occurred. Well, maybe not ever, but it ranked in history as pretty wild. For 24 hours straight, there was non-stop bombardment of airports, command and control, anti-air missile sites. Phase 2 was the bombing of bunkers, bridges, destroying infrastructure, oil fields that were beneficial to Saddam Hussein and his forces. And then Phase 3, which was Operation Desert Saber, was the immobilization of ground troops to finish the job. And we did it in 42 days. 42 days, they flew 100 1,000 missions and dropped 88,500 tons of bombs on the country. And only lost 55 aircraft. 8 of which were RAF. Squadron 9 lost 1 aircraft out of combat. There was a power failure on takeoff and the pilot ejected. No loss of life. So we are inside Iraq. We've crossed over probably about 2 minutes ago. So we're going to scream across the desert to our target point, which is going to be Saddam International Airport. He has military jets there, and we're going to disable the runway. Alright, so we're good. So let's go, we can go faster. We're going to increase our speed. Knots, and we're going to drop down to 500. So what this would do is use radar to paint a map picture of the ground terrain in front. Microsoft Flight Simulator doesn't do that, so it's just using the ground terrain here, but it's making some adjustments, so it works really well, actually. And we can go to 600 miles an hour, 600 nautical miles an hour. So we're going low and slow so that any air-to-ground missiles can't track us, and we're going too fast for ground munitions to be very effective. Plus, hugging the ground like this keeps us out of aerial radar, so we can't be tracked. 130 miles to target. We're going 0.9 Mach. 500 above ground. I don't know about you guys, but that is pretty badass. Just imagine, you know, 3 or 4 other aircraft in a formation. That would just be an awesome sight. Well, it's making adjustments and trying to keep us at 500 feet over. I know it was common for this style low-level flying wrong. Once again, I'm not, you know, great on military procedures, but this seems very, very effective. Yeah, so, I mean, almost the speed of sound, 500 feet off the ground. You're going to be a hard target. Looks like the real world weather is going to maybe give us actual, you know, January 17th with obscure targets and whatnot. It's going to be interesting. So we attacked Saddam Hussein, and his answer to that attack was a Scud missile launch on Israel. He didn't even come back after us, really. He bombed another country. I mean, I'm sorry, but in my opinion, this guy, he was just, you know, barring what political aspects that you have about war, this guy was just an a-hole. Miles to objective varsity. All systems are looking good. Fuel's good. We are at, this would be bingo risk, I believe. So, you know, it's telling us that if we keep this rate up, we're going to be at bingo fuel. In no time. But we should be good. I flew this mission just to see before we screamed if it would work. And it did. So takeoff and landing. So takeoff was great. So flying around is good. Autopilot's good. Still haven't quite got the landing down. Don't crash. But we come in hard. Military jets are a different breed. So I set up this scenario, but this actual scenario would have been done at night. I didn't want to do night because Microsoft Flight Simulator is a little dead. The scenery is a little dead at night. So I wanted to give the visuals of the open desert and so on and so forth. So that's why I'm doing this early morning dawn scenario, which probably worked because they went for 24 hours. But Operation Instant Thunder started at night. I remember when I was 14 years old when Desert Storm started. I was a cadet in the United States Air Force Auxiliary Civil Air Patrol. I was a cadet airman, first class, and we were in formation. And my commanding officer came out and he said that we just attacked Iraq. It's funny what we remember. Don't know the name of this lake that we're going to be coming up on, but it's due west of a city called Karbala. It's a pretty big lake. Yeah, I don't know what the name of this lake is. Guess I could look it up, but... "40 miles to target." This was a concert effort. There would have been other squadrons. It wouldn't have been just us coming into Baghdad. It would have there would have been support aircraft. There was helicopters taking out anti-air sites. "30 miles to target." That's Baghdad International Airport. Well, Saddam, it's 91, so it's Saddam International. Did read that there were civilian casualties. One of the laser-guided bombs had a malfunction and didn't hit its target. But there was only one incident of that, as far as I've read. "20 miles to target." I'm going to start seeing vegetation because this is a oasis city along the Euphrates River. Which is right here. This is the Euphrates. probably start taking small arms fire right about now. Maybe even start tracking some surface-to-air missiles. There's our target. Tally-ho. We're just going to line up for a runway. Try to, anyway. Tight. Bombs away. We're going to come around on target for Volusia. As we blew the hell out of that runway, we're going to take out this command and control center that's over by the Euphrates River in Volusia. Fallujah is about 20 miles from Baghdad, and it was the site of some pretty horrific fighting during the second Gulf War. 5 miles to target. There's Fallujah off to our right. Euphrates River right here, so we're gonna come in. Pick out our target. The city of Fallujah. Alright, so we're gonna bug out. We'll climb up to 20,000 feet so we can get to our rendezvous altitude for our refueling and head back to Saudi Arabia. So we can land, get our next mission, and re-outfit. And we'll be doing this all day. So we reviewed, we got the ground terrain radar, you know, and we could hug the earth at, you know, as low as 200 feet, although it starts to get a little squirrely. So it's time to get out of here. Speed of sound, guys. So El Wadi is another target. I believe that's out over here. There was Hotel 3, Hotel 1, and Hotel 2. There were air bases out to the west towards Syria. Going Mach 1.2 or 1.1. About 900,000 miles an hour. Just to get out of the combat zone, away from everything that's going on. since we dropped all our munitions, all we have is our guns. Well, we do have 2 sidewinders. Wouldn't leave home without them. You got to give, hats off to these guys that did this. I mean, it's crazy. Long hours, the amount of missions each time, you're in harm's way. I'll give it to you. Ground soldiers, air soldiers, it doesn't matter. You guys are all fantastic. Again, the sim aspect, I mean, this plane is well put together. The systems are modeled, almost all of them are modeled, minus the weapon system. It'd be cool if they put a separate add-on. You can have a lot of fun in this, and I really think this will be. This wouldn't be a regrettable purchase for you guys. Going 718 knots across the ground. We are just burning through our fuel. And I know there is a gas station at the other end of this rainbow. Like cloud skimming at the speed of sound, right guys? So 90 miles to aerial refueling point. At this speed, it should only take a couple minutes. See if I can get a time point. So it's saying at this speed we'll be at our airport in 15 minutes, so we're going to be at the refueling point in like less than 5, I think. The reason we're cooking so much fuel is because we are outside, we're pretty low. 20,000 feet at Mach 1 is we really should be above 30,000. Almost like a countdown clock. Going about 1,100 feet per second. So, see, it didn't simulate us dropping our ordnance. Well, once we get some fuel, we'll jettison it. Slow down for refueling. Welcome to Saudi Arabia. We're out of hostile airspace. Oh, cool. It's auto refueling. I like that. Pretty cool. Well, that's pretty cool. Wish it was a little faster, but I didn't know that, guys. So we learned something. When you slow down and you put the fuel probe out, it auto refuels the plane. Wonder how long it takes to refuel the whole plane. Well, that sun's bright. I wonder if that's a desert thing. There we go. All we got left is our air-to-air. Let's bring it home, guys. We got our gas. Now we're on our way. But our job will be done. We'll be refitted and we'll bomb another target. Probably get a break 10 hours from now. Less tiring. Actually, it takes a physical toll to pull G's in a fighter jet. To do it for an all-day thing, I can't get enough about how, how impressed I am with military personnel. Start down. About 5,000 feet. Like the thunderstorms have moved on. about 7 minutes out from Aljuf. I know I'm probably butchering that. Alright, so we're set up for the approach. Weather conditions at dusk. Wind 60 at 14, so coming on runway 10. Lead off some of that airspeed. Airport's right out in front of us. Set the compass to 100, so we got our bearing on the airport. Alright, so we're going over to the airport now. probably loud. I'm going to overfly the airport and try to do a pad. City of Sakaka. Got a picture of that. And a rainbow to greet us. It's pretty cool. Gear out. Where's the runway? Can't play too much here. Okay, there we go. Whew. Desert, it's hard to find runways. Alright, let's try this landing. Best landing yet. Oop, let's not, flip. Gotta check that. So we're gonna kill this. Welcome to Al Jouf. So we're going to shut down, and then we're going to go check out that landing. As squirrely as it was the best one so far for me. Parking brake on. Shut down. There she is, guys. Let's go, let's check out that landing. Of course, the replay bug is going to only show us our wings. Ah, there we go. Air brakes out. I couldn't find the runway because it was foggy. Weather decided to re-inject. It was pretty cool, the rainbow around the plane. I would require a runway. Best one yet, guys. I want to thank everybody for watching. And thank everybody for watching. I want to, really appreciate it. You guys have been great. Until next time, clear skies and smooth landings. Hope we learned something. What I like to do. With that lightning in the background. Sweet.